Now that the psychological and neurological foundations of human behavior have been examined, we can better understand why the pursuit of power has shaped human civilization from its very beginning. The structures we discussed in the frontal lobe, the hippocampus, the amygdala, and the hypothalamus do not simply influence private thoughts or individual emotions. They create the fundamental motivations and reactions that drive human beings at both the personal and the societal level. Frontal lobe, especially the prefrontal cortex, enables us to imagine the future, plan complex actions, restrain impulses, and develop a sense of identity. These abilities make it possible for humans to construct ambitions, evaluate risks, and envision themselves as leaders or influencers. Historical figures such as Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, or any major ruler from the timeline acted within the very cognitive frameworks shaped by the frontal lobe. Their strategic thinking, their calculated decisions, and even their sense of personal destiny reflect neurological mechanisms that evolved naturally. According to the Annual Review of Psychology, some of these processes in the social brain likely account for some aspects of human social behavior that are unique, such as culture and civilization. Moreover, the hippocampus deepens this connection by transforming life experiences into long-term memories. This means that cultural lessons, political systems, family dynamics, and social hierarchies become encoded in the brain and carried into adulthood. Throughout history, societies have repeatedly taught their members that power brings stability, security, or honor. These repeated teachings activate the hippocampal circuits responsible for learning, reinforcing the idea that control is desirable or even necessary. The memories of entire civilizations, rituals, traditions, wars, or even myths, are passed down to shape how individuals perceive power in their own time. But memories alone do not move societies. Emotional processing, especially fear, desire, and threat detection, plays an essential role. The amygdala's ability to convert emotional experiences into behavioral responses explains why fear has been a major force in world history. Nations prepare for war because of fear. Empires collapse because fear drives rebellion. Leaders strengthen their authority because they fear instability. The brain's emotional circuit therefore echoes itself in every moment of political tension or social transformation on the timeline. This explains why the Roman expansion was so prominent. The need for control was deeply rooted in a sense of fear of the perceived threat of other neighboring communities. Additionally, the hypothalamus completes this psychological foundation by regulating hormones like dopamine and testosterone, which are responsible for motivation, ambition, dominance, and reward. This system explains why individuals who gain a taste for influence often seek more. The biological reward of achieving power, whether political, social, or personal, becomes a reinforcing loop. This same loop can be seen in historical leaders who expanded their empires, fought for recognition, or pursued social dominance, often without stopping once initial success was achieved. Crucially, modern neuroscience makes it clear that these brain mechanisms extend far beyond individual psychology. As previously mentioned, the Annual Review of Psychology notes some of these processes likely account for aspects of human social behavior that are unique, such as culture and civilization. This means that the neural system responsible for memory, emotion, identity, and reward are also responsible for the formation of hierarchies, group dynamics, and social structures. In other words, the biological processes we just explored help explain why human societies function the way they do. With this in mind, we can now transition to the historical timeline. The events you will see next: conquests, revolutions, alliances, rises and falls of empires, are not random. They are the expression of the same neural patterns that drive individual behavior. Throughout antiquity, the Middle Ages, the modern era, and into the contemporary times, the pursuit of power reflects deep instincts rooted in our brain's architecture. Civilizations expand because the frontal lobe makes planning possible. Cultural norms and political ideologies spread because the hippocampus encodes them. Wars ignite because the amygdala reacts to threats. Movements grow because the hypothalamus rewards ambition and dominance. Therefore, the historical timeline that follows is not just a record of events, it is the external manifestation of human psychology, an unfolding story shaped by the biological mechanisms that govern ambition, fear, memory, reward, and identity. Understanding the brain allows us to understand history, because the same forces that operate within individuals also operate across civilizations.